Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm in Sakon Nakhon city in the Isan region of Thailand. This is where my mother is from and where her side of the family resides. This was my first time going back since 2019 and the start of the pandemic. It was a great time seeing everyone again after so long, but now it's time to head home and get back to work. Normally when I visit, I opt to fly on Thai Smile out of the neighboring province in Udon Thani. But I thought that would be a good idea to fly out of Sakon Nakhon this time. The drive from my family's village is shorter and the fare was cheaper. Or at least I thought so. SNO Airport sees on average 2 to 4 flights a day from Nok Air and 1 from Thai Air Asia, all to Bangkok Muang Airport. There wasn't too much of a lineup here, but this is the start of where you can potentially get ripped off when you start to check in. So let's pause for 1 second here and cover the operating model of a low-cost carrier, if you don't know already. Long story short, you buy a base fare, you and 1 personal belonging. Want to bring a carry-on? Check bag, priority boarding. Select your seat for the extra flight. Well, that's all gonna cost extra. My one-way fare today costed 2,227 baht after taxes and fees. This included a 15 kilo check bag, a selected seat, and priority boarding. Now checking in and dropping my bag, it weighed 23 kilos. Now assuming that the overweight fees would be minimal, this is where I couldn't have been more wrong. They let me check my bag and redirected me to the ticket counter for overweight fees. I was billed an astonishing 3,200 baht, just shy of 1.5 times of what I originally paid. Now, to be fair in my ignorance, I thought I had 20 kilos of baggage allowance. That works out to about 400 baht per excess kilo. In comparison, later on that month, I flew Hong Kong Express, another low-cost carrier. Future video coming out. 20 kilos of baggage was included in the ticket, and it was 500 baht per kilo in excess baggage. I'll touch bases on this shortly, but let's get into the actual flight. And I'll be honest here, this was a pretty uneventful flight, as it should be. All boarding is done on the both forward and aft on an open ramp. All the flights here have pretty quick turns, like a lot of airports in Thailand. All the flights are typically double catered and fueled in Bangkok. That's how they keep the turn time so short. As per usual in this part of the world, there's really no boarding sequence in force. It's just a giant bum rush to the gate. My seat for the hour-long flight is 28K, towards the aft of the aircraft. This seat actually isn't too bad. An okay amount of pitch for a low-cost carrier, no seat back pocket, a decently sized tray table, and the seat actually reclines. Not to mention, it doesn't feel as hard as a rock. It was a quick fire up of the engines, and we started the backtrack on the runway for takeoff. Interesting fact about this airport, and a lot of different airports across the region of Isan, this airport was actually built by the US Army during the Vietnam War. This is due to the close proximity of Laos to Isan, and where a lot of US Army personnel were stationed. After takeoff into the haze, like I said, it was extremely uneventful. Not even a small bottle of water was served. So, let's get into the details of how we can avoid these fees next time we fly Nok Air. So you can actually purchase excess baggage on the Nok Air website on top of your regular fare. This will significantly reduce the baggage fees when you check in, and it's normally fairly cheap. Or how about an easier option? I had to return back to Thailand a couple weeks later, and once again, I decided to fly on Nok Air. This time to Ranong in the south of Thailand. Determined not to get ripped off again, let's take a look at some different fares. Wow, this is pretty good. The top fare on this route, booked about 2 weeks in advance, costs 1,883 baht. This includes 25 kilos of baggage, priority check-in and boarding, selected premium seats including the exit row, and a meal. Flexible rebooking options, and here's the best part, access to their lounge in Dong Muang Airport. Never have I seen a low-cost carrier have their own in-house lounge. If there's one to be offered, it's typically contracted out. So let's make our way down to Ranong. Back in Thailand 2 weeks later, I was staying near Suvarnabhumi Airport. Through traffic, it takes about an hour to get between the two airports. After getting dropped off at the wrong terminal, I made my way over to the domestic side. Dong Muang Airport is the oldest operating airport in Asia, and is one of the world's oldest commercial airports. I have tons of fond memories flying out of here as a young child. Finding my way over to the priority check-in, there was one person in front of me. My new favorite thing about this airport since the renovations is you have to wait by a TV monitor for your bag to be screened. They're really sensitive about flying with power banks in Thailand. After security, it was time to make my way over to the lounge, which is no more than a hole in the wall, but hey, it was included in the ticket. The breakfast spread here was nothing more than some pastries, toast, and some congee. To be honest, it's not my favorite. Like I said, it was included, so I'm not complaining. Walking past the gate, my plane is still not here, 30 minutes to departure, but it eventually showed up about 10 minutes later. Priority boarding was enforced here, so I was one of the first few passengers to get on a plane. And also I noticed this on my trip, what's with Thai people and Krispy Kreme donuts? On my last 2 flights out of Bangkok at both airports, people were bringing with them dozens of donuts. Like, I counted that one person had 70 individual donuts to one person. And I guarantee you, they put them in the freezer when they get home. Anyways, here's my exit row seat for this leg. It features all the exact same features of the previous seat, except for the missing armrest for obvious reasons. After the cool takeoff next to the Royal Thai golf course, we all know what we want to see, the included meal. The flight attendants verify that you have purchased a meal through your boarding pass, which is honestly a little unnecessary. They have a list themselves, so they're just double verifying it. Well, here it is in all its glory, a cinnamon bun pastry, a slice of coffee cake, and a bottle of water. A little shameless, but I did bring McDonald's breakfast onto the plane. I'm kinda happy I did. Well, after another uneventful hour, we land in Ranong. So in the end, be smart when purchasing your tickets on a low-cost carrier. You might pay more than what you bargained for. And hey, sometimes paying a bit more for the higher ticket pays off in the end. You might get a little bit more than what you originally wanted. But in the end of the day, you know I just paid the highest for the baggage allowance, right? Anyway, that's enough rambling for one video. Thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next one.